to lesson 15. Lesson 15, we make a change in symbonology, or terminology, whichever you want to call it. I think of it as symbonology because if you look at our problem, we have this new creature in there. We have that little creature right there. That little creature is called the opposite of x. That is, to be more precise, it is open parenthesis, opposite of x, close the parenthesis. We're just going to call it opposite of x. So we have that option right there. We have an opposite of x in our problems now. We have the standard x's, and we have an opposite of x. Now, we already have something that we call the opposite of x. The thing we have is we have star, and we said by definition, the star is the opposite of x. We're going to start to get away from using star, and we're going to start using more of that opposite of x symbonology. So here we go. We can take this problem and rewrite it as 2x plus star plus 3 equals 2 star plus 15, and let that be our problem. Just realize when we see opposite of x, we are using star. So when I come over here and I start to set up problems on the on our sheet here, I'm going to stop using the word star, and I'm going to start calling these things opposite of x. The white is now an opposite of x and not a star, just to make things match up with the terminology we have over there. So when I look at that problem, I got to set it up. I got a 2x plus the opposite of x plus a 3 equaling 2 of the opposite of x plus a 15. So there's my problem. 2x plus opposite of x, or star, plus 3 is equal to 2 opposite of x plus 15, or 2 stars plus 15. So there's my problem. Now I got to solve it. I know an x and an opposite of x cancel each other out. That makes sense. Now I've got an x and a 3 on one side, and I got opposite of x's, 2 opposite of x and 15 on the left, on the right. So now we've got to work that down a little bit. The way to get rid of, I have to either get rid of one or the other. Remember, this is what we had back in lesson 12 or 13. We got to get it down so I have numbers on one side and the variables and the other stuff on the other. Well, now this 3 can go into this 5 and leave 2. So I had the 3 come across the border, knock out the 5, make it a 2. So now I got 2 stars, 2 opposite of x's, 2 stars on one side with the x on the other. Now I can get rid of the 2 opposite of x by adding 2 x's on that side. But if I do it to the right-hand side of the board down, I got to do it to the left. So now my x and my opposite of x's cancel off. I have 3x equals 12, so x must be 4. So if I'm going to write that down, I'm going to say x equals 4, and opposite of x equals negative 4. So now when I look at my problem and I check it, I got 4 plus 4 plus negative 4 plus 3, and I got 2 times negative 4. That's not the way we do that. We got negative 4 plus negative 4 plus 15. We do it just as if we were writing symbols down, don't we? Okay, so now let's do the math. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus negative 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 8, plus 15. Well, that is a terrible 8. Gives me 7. 7 equals 7. So x equals 4, and the opposite of x equals negative 4. Well, here's our next problem. I got 2 times the opposite of x plus the opposite of x equals 10 plus the opposite of x. Well, we know the opposite of x is our star. So I've got 2 star symbols, which is 2 of the opposite of x, plus another one, equaling 10, and adding the opposite of x. Now I could remove 1 from both sides. We know we can do that. We're allowed to do that. So I got 2 of these opposite of x's equaling 10. So it tells me that the opposite of x is 5. Well, let's see if that works. I've got a 5 plus a 5 plus a 5. And on the other side, I have a 10 plus a 5. So on the right-hand side, I get 15. On the left-hand side, 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15. I got 15 equals 15. That works out. One more. Whoo! I've got 3 times the opposite of x, or 3 of the opposite of x, minus an opposite of x, plus a 5, equals an 8 plus an opposite of x. I can do this either way. I'm going to do it up here on the board, though. So I'm going to go full screen. Here we go. So I've got the 1, 2, 3, opposite of x. I have to take 1 away. I got an add of 5. That's going to equal an 8 plus the opposite of x. So now I have 2 opposite of x plus 5 equaling an 8 plus opposite of x. I got an opposite of x on both sides, so I can take them off. I got a 5 and the 8. Well, I can take the 5 away from both sides and leave a 3. So the opposite of x must equal 3. So now let's see if that works out. I've got a 3 plus a 3 plus a 3, but I got to take away one of these 3's, plus a 5, and I got 8 plus a 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 equals 11. That works out. So the big thing that's happening here in this lesson is we're seeing this brand new little deal, and we call it the opposite of x, right there. The opposite of x, we used to refer to it as being star. Oh, I guess I got to close that off. Used to be referred to as being called star, but now we're calling that star opposite of x. So we're going to use that middle notation now, but it's still going to be our white triangle instead of the star symbol. So the opposite of x is what we're going to call it now. Good luck.